Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our May 5th Power Hour with
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo with Clare, Sanak, and Katelyn. There's no Carly today. We have replaced her with Sanak.
She's in Treb jail right now?
She is. She is in Treb courses right now for bad behavior.
Her husband's really sad.
Not
right
her
now.
bad behavior, someone else's. So when you guys do bad things, we end up in Treb jail.
And Sanak doesn't have a wife for 2 days. So. Thanks, guys.
Just so you know, it's funny how it goes there. So, as managers or the owner, we're at home doing nothing there, and agents are out there doing things, and agents doing things gets us in trouble, right? So.
And then we go with all the other brokers who also
which is
have
fine.
it.
It's all part of the game. So, you know, anybody that wants to become a broker record, no problem. I got the keys here. I don't know. So I don't see too many people here today. We got a bunch of people online for sure. I don't know what's is it because of the weather or what's going
Cinco
on
de
today?
Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo because the Leafs are playing today, baby.
Any hockey fans here? No. So anybody watch that game last night there?
Crazy.
Holy smokes! The guy was like a half a shot away from that was the end of the season, and they ended up carrying on, right?
Yeah. Winnipeg.
Yeah, but they scored with 1.6 seconds left in the game. It's just, and then they won it. Then they won in overtime, right?
2 overtimes too.
Yeah, good for them. Leafs are playing tonight too, so
Sports. Carly's favorite time.
Hashtag sports. That's when I get to see her the most.
So let's start off. Then anybody here do any open houses?
Let's talk about
Anybody at home? Then you Sandy, see anybody at home do open houses? Anybody? Nothing here. Nobody here.
I know an agent who did an open house. Nobody came, but we want to talk a bit about some ideas for open houses.
So when you guys do open houses, right? You got to do it properly, right? We've got the systems for success. If you do an open house, do it right. Spend some time.
Yeah.
We've got those cheap little signs out there. They're like 4 signs for $20 or $25, whatever they are.
I think it's like
You should maybe have
$6.
like 8 of them, or 10 of them, or 12 of them, or 20 of them. Just put them all over the place there. I mean, it's you know, and if people pick them up and steal them, that was the whole idea. It's not expensive open house signs, right, that we have, but get it out there. You also want to do your just listed cards and hey, just list this property, or the open house. Hey, welcome people to the open house. Sanak's got one here at his house. Somebody invited him to the open house, so they're doing it correctly. Not our agent, another agent. But then we just finished with Ryan Serhan. Ryan Serhan, just one of the things he said is about what's your brand, what's your message, what are you trying to project?
Yeah.
Or are you trying to be like a first-time homebuyer agent, or are you trying to be a luxury agent? You're trying to be a rental agent, whatever it might be. But you're always putting something out there, and people are looking at what you're doing, and they're judging you, right?
Yeah.
So here's this poor girl here. I'm not going to give her a name.
Yeah, I'm going to judge it a little bit. But she did it on paper. And I don't know if you guys can see the cutout, but she cut it with scissors.
It's a DIY.
It's kind of cut up. Originally, I was like, you know what? I'm really impressed with the dedication that
The
this girl
content
had.
itself is good.
Content's good.
But you guys got to be careful when you guys are doing your own marketing, because I've even seen agents will just print off an MLS black and white sheet and put that in a neighbor's door and call that a ad. Like, that doesn't really look professional, in my opinion. I think that's not going to entice a seller to want to hire you. And I think the whole point of having open houses is to find sellers. And if they know that you're going out there and printing your door hanger from home and cutting it, I get it.
But would it make you want to hire this person?
No.
This is my question.
And when you do open houses, there's 2 people you're looking for, right? You're looking for the guy that's coming in and looking at the open house, pick up a buyer, but you also want the neighbor.
Yeah.
And you're going to phone call the neighbor. You want the neighbor to list with you too, right? Yeah. So if you've got something here that's sort of...
This would have been a great one, but
photocopy paper and it's
printed.
hand done, what kind of impression are you going to give to your neighbor, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking that she ran out of door hangers and she went home quickly to go print these out because she's dedicated to the whole process of this.
Mm-hmm. But you guys can get these printed at like SanPro, like some local printers, Staples. So spend the extra money if you're going to be doing that stuff, just for the impressions of the neighbors and whatnot.
Even this, you can actually buy the Avery version of this and print it yourself. It costs
like the thicker paper.
The thicker paper. It's all perforated for you. That's what I did, actually.
Yeah. Just conscious. We did have one agent, brand new, just a couple weeks ago, and she did our open house. She went over the top, to be honest. She actually set up like a kids table there. So any families that came in, she had kids snacks, coloring books, because she said she's gone to a lot of open houses with her own kids and how chaotic it can be. So she like went over the top at her own open house and had a cute little kids section. So doing those extra little steps at those open houses really helps, I think.
I think Mo also did an open house in Ajax. I think there was 2 on Saturday. I don't know about Sunday though.
Did anyone comment in the chat? Okay, so it's been quiet.
It felt slow this weekend.
Is it good to do open house for same property on 2 weekends?
I don't think it does much. I think the first weekend is like the key weekend, unless you did a price drop or something different. Then maybe that second weekend will be good. But I think that first weekend is like, that's your shot to get it. The second weekend is usually
19
dead.
days, if you are not able to generate enough, even if there is open house, even if the price.
The open house is not, yeah. I don't think it's a good use of time.
But only you are welcoming the neighbors.
Yeah, you'll be by yourself or a neighbor, yeah.
Diane had 4 people come in 2 days in Ajax.
Okay, that's
Okay.
good. Not bad. I think there was a Scarborough one that had 6 groups go in.
I said it's hard to do open houses for condos.
Condos are tricky, yeah. Usually it's good to have 2 people at an open house, one downstairs to capture the people and bring them up, and then one person in the unit. Or if you can find a way to have the concierge have like your phone number somewhere to call you to come down. But they can be pretty tricky.
I think the 2-person is the best way to do it.
Yeah. Even if you have a mortgage broker that partners with you, if you don't want to share the
Do people
commission.
do open houses on condos that often? Or?
Some do. Some condos don't even allow it.
Yeah.
Some condos don't allow open houses.
Or the advertising of it.
Village
They
Green
can't
doesn't
put your
allow it.
open house sign there.
Okay, interesting.
2 to 4 time is how it was decided. Over the street shows maximum showing the during 2 to 4 or
The what?
2 to 4 time slot.
Yeah.
I mean, we see history, everybody is 2 to 4.
Yeah.
Any reason?
I think that's just how it's been over the years.
So the question for people at home, the question is: everybody does open house between 2 and 4. Why is that?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you from
You guys
from
started
people
it.
that told me, come 4 o'clock, that's when you get the most people. So why wouldn't you make it from 3 to 5? Am I wrong or no? Do people not show up? Don't people show up at 3:45 or 4 o'clock?
Yeah. Rather more crowd during the.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So maybe extend it a little
Yeah,
bit
but
there.
some agents keep like 4-5 hours.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
you
good.
can do it as, there's no rules for it. I think it's good to do 2 to 4 because that's what the public typically expects of it too,
Next
but
weekend I have to do 2 properties, so that is the reason.
you have to do it.
Yeah, I mean, my own listing. So
Yeah.
trying to-
Oh, like trying to stagger the times? That'll be tricky. You can do different times. There's no set way. You don't have to do 2 to 4. It's just what people have been doing for years. So you can do it on a Thursday, Wednesday
They do
evening
2
too.
before because when you go to Treb and buy an open house sign, it says 2 to 4.
True. That's, yeah, like it's just like, I think it's just like a common time. Yeah.
I think Trev is directing our open house hours.
Right?
But yeah, you can do it Wednesday night if you want. Doesn't even have to be
How's
Saturday,
your open
Sunday.
house?
Yeah, I did an open house. I did one day, Michael did the other day in Ajax. I had 3 groups. Yeah, 3 groups, and then Michael also had 3 groups.
Oh.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Is that listed for bidding war?
69 offers any time.
Oh, okay. Wait, offers any time and you still got 6 groups?
Yeah,
That's good.
Nice.
Is a townhouse or a semi-detached?
townhouse. It's the best townhouse in Asia.
I told it yesterday
Oh, you did? I didn't see your book.
when Michael was here holding the.
Oh, like actually?
Sorry?
Like actually?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
One of the
Okay.
three. So there's a stigma attached.
Let's not talk about the stigma out loud here.
No stigma.
So last time we were here, we had a prime minister named Carney, and now we have a prime minister named Carney. So I'm not going to get in politics here, but 50% of the people here voted for Conservatives, and 50% of the people voted for Liberals.
Who voted for which? No, I'm just,
No, it
just
doesn't.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Don't go down
We're
that
not
road.
doing that.
What's the difference between the two? I'm not sure because at the end there, they almost like they had the same policies, right?
Yeah.
You know, but we'll find out what happens tomorrow with Mr. T down there. Hope he doesn't pull a Zelensky on him. So we'll see what
I didn't even
happens
think
there.
about that actually.
To me, he's going to the devil's den there, boy. Because like he gave the guy from Japan a hard time. Did you see the guy from Ireland gave him a hard time?
He's been nice to the Mexican
Zelensky was
lady.
pointing in his face and that. So I don't know. Well, hopefully Carney's. I think Carney's got the world experience. I think that's probably why people voted for him in the first place. So they somehow think that Carney's going to be better than the other fellow at negotiating. But we'll find out. At the end of the day, it is what it is, and we just have to carry on, right? So it doesn't matter. But one of the things that Carney said during the thing, he was talking about eliminating the GST for first-time buyers on new homes. So he's trying to incentivize things there.
Was it up to or something?
He's talking about reducing the income tax on the lowest marginal tax rates. He's reducing the consumer carbon tax. I didn't realize how much that carbon tax affected us. Did you guys, anybody notice at the pump? It dropped to about
went down
20
a lot.
cents a liter.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit. Right, so he's going to get us back later on. I mean, he's going to get the corporations to pay for it. It's not like it's gone away. This is very, very specific. This is the consumer portion of the carbon tax is gone. $25 billion for financing prefabrication model homes. He seems to think that that's going to be a way to save things. He's trying to get the municipal developments charges dropped by 50%. For multiple residential units. He's talking about developers themselves, helping them with developers, offering tax incentives for multi-unit buildings or MURBs. Remember the old days, anybody?
Yeah.
What's
Remember
that?
those MURBs?
Tapscott, number 10 Tapscott.
Tapscott and Panorama and a bunch of stuff, and that a bunch of doctors bought back then. So there was some type of tax incentives for people to invest in these rental units there. So, and it turned out the places were just junky. I don't know why, because it was a good plan, but somehow those buildings just fell apart for some reason.
Converted back to condominium now.
Converting existing structures into affordable homes. I'm not sure if that means federal business, maybe. So lots of stuff going on there. I've got some other articles talking about whether that's a good strategy or not. You guys tell me, but it doesn't really matter.
I think Mo's got a question or a statement.
Is MRB different than MLI?
I'm sorry?
Is MRB different than MLI? Because they already do MLI, and that's also for multifamily.
Yeah.
So isn't MLI like more of a CMHC
Yeah, MLI
offering?
CMHC, and then they will fund multifamily like buildings, and they'll do like a 50-year AM, and they will like lower interest rate, like it just.
I'd have to see the difference here, but I think a MRB has something to do with income taxes. It's something to do with the income tax for the consumer, so it has some type of tax benefit, and that's why a lot of doctors bought into these places here. So it's a little bit different, possibly.
The building was known as a MRF?
Yeah, the entire building was developed as a MRB. So. The other thing they did, I mentioned this before, that the government could do in Brampton and particularly in Melbourne here, the government bought the land or gave the land to the developers, and when somebody bought a house, they would buy the house and lease the land from the feds. And the lease was like 25 years, so they would pay the lease over 25 years. So, but when they bought the house, they weren't buying the land; they're just buying the house itself. So, the house was at wherever it was, $200 a square foot to build a house, and that worked out very, very well. Right?
Where were those?
Melbourne.
Oh, they're all Melbourne?
Yeah, pretty much all Melbourne in that area up there, right? And they've all converted now. Pretty much the leases are over now. It's over 25 years. So that was one thing they did. Just a reminder that the vacant home tax came into effect on April 30th. Actually, May 1st, I guess. So anybody that did not declare that their place was vacant or not vacant, let's say they did not declare that it was occupied, they're going to get a 3% tax bill in their next tax statement. Now they can reverse it by paying a fee, I guess, if they made a mistake. They can reverse it. Last year there was 160,000 Torontonians that were taxed despite they were living in the home. So there's 160,000 people last year that didn't report that the place was vacant or not vacant. And of the 160,000, believe it or not, they did 100,000 refunds, meaning 60,000 properties were vacant. If there's 60,000 vacant properties, get them on the market so that the shortage is gone. And this comes back to when I'm talking about Carney and spending money for development. I'll get back to that later on. I thought that was interesting, right? How many houses do you think are in the city of Toronto? Take a wild guess. What's the population of the city of Toronto? 416. 2.8, 2.7, somewhere around there?
Is it 4? Isn't it 4 now?
More than 3 million.
Just 416, 416, not GTA.
2 million homes?
I say probably about 2.3. There's let's say there's about 2.8 or 9 million people living in the 416 area. There's 812,000 homes.
812.
812,000 homes.
Oh.
Condos and homes?
Yeah, households, right?
Oh, shit.
That's a big shortage.
Like including condos and freeholds, everything. 812. So the population is about 2.1 to 1. Right? 2.5 makes sense, right? So if we sell in 22, I think we sold 123,000 homes or something like that. So it was a little more than, it was like 10-15% of all the homes sold. That's pretty good. The goal of vacant tax is to free up housing supply in the city, de-incentivize homeowners for leaving residents unoccupied. So they don't want them leaving unoccupied. That's what they're doing. The exemptions, there are exemptions for the property too. People die, people in hospital, people blah, blah, blah. There are exceptions too. But if you got any clients out there that are surprised, hey, what's this? Then something to talk about. Why don't we just get into the stats right now for April? So I've got 2 stats here. One's for April, one's for the first 4 days in May. I'll do the ones for April first, so just to give you an idea what the market's doing, right? So right now we've got over 28,239 active listings.
534 now.
28,534 as of this morning, right? I do mine last night. Seems like a lot, right? Just give you in perspective, April 28th last year, April.
Keep all of these?
I keep everything.
He's got a library. You got a museum downstairs. What do you mean?
You think I remember all this stuff? April 23, there was 18,000 listings. So there's 10,000 more listings today than there was in April 23.
But that is including all other areas as well? Like
Yes, everything, everything, right? And if I go to, let's say last year, let's go to July, I'm not sure, it's 24, June 24th, June 16th, June 9th. Okay, May 5th last year, that's right, May, about 23,000 last year. So it's from 2 years ago, it's up about 10,000 from last year, about 5 or so. So inventory's up. I keep everything, huh?
I have to say, you are very methodical. Just so everyone knows, me and Claire actually got to spend Saturday together fixing up his rental unit. I worked on the bathroom for 3 hours, and he worked all around the house and did everything in 3 hours, and I just focused on the bathroom, but I was very impressed. Claire's very handy.
Dream team.
Oh, surprising, huh?
This man, he will not hire anyone.
Who is better out of 2?
Huh?
Who is better?
Out of us two? Oh, him. Look at this. He has this data from 3 years ago.
Anyway, so there's 28,500 active listings, 15,600 freeholds, 12,500 are condos. Of the 28,000 properties that are available, all properties, all types, 35% of them are vacant. Freehold properties that are vacant are 28%. Condominiums that are vacant are 44%. So it makes sense, right? So condominiums are interesting, right? What's happening with that? The sales themselves, Treb's going to report the sales probably hopefully this week here. My numbers are just rough, but I'm guessing that the sales, we've got about 5,500. Last year, about almost 7,000. So they're going to be about 21% down from last year. Freeholds are down 16%. Condominiums are actually down 30%. Months of inventory is going to come in overall about 5 months of inventory. So what's the rule of thumb? Months of inventory?
6 to 4 is a balanced.
Four might be the
4 to 6
tipping
being
point.
balanced.
Yeah.
So if it's 5, I'm thinking it's balanced more towards the buyer side though.
Yeah.
Because there's more inventory, there's more choice. If you break that down, freeholds are about 4 months of inventory. Condominiums are about almost 7 months of inventory.
So freeholds are still on the cusp of a seller's.
So the freeholds are there and here. Condominiums are definitely a buyer's market.
Yeah.
Yep.
Durham freehold is seller's market.
Yeah, Durham freehold's been pretty good.
It's selling like a week, 2 weeks.
Under a mill.
Yeah.
So the comment here was that the Durham stuff is selling freeholds, right? In the 800,000 minus range.
I feel like Durham's always been kind of one of those markets that's always kind of maintained its status.
Unfortunately, yeah, but a lot of the guys in Durham though, even though they're selling, they're losing money if they bought 2-3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody else, right? Sales over 101%, 26% of them. 31% of freeholds are selling for over asking. 15% of condominiums are selling over asking. So if they're talking about strategy, right? So if you got a strategy, you've got 30% of the time for freeholds, you can price low, sell high. Only 15% of condos. But I think the 15% for condos, in my opinion, you could tell me, I think that a lot of sellers pay too much for condominiums. They're trying to get as much as they can out of it. Therefore, they're resisting with the price. Mm-hmm. The only way that you can get multiple offers if you strategically price, you're going to price a condominium low to get the multiple offers. So I don't think the sellers are prepared to price it low, and that's why they're not doing it.
But I feel like a lot of condo
Right?
buyers are like speculators too. That's why they bought them.
And that's why they don't want to. That's why they don't want to
to.
underprice it. They think that if they price it low, that's all they're going to get. They don't fully understand the strategy, right?
Yeah.
So you got to maybe explain that to them. I have a condominium for sale or lease. What are your clients doing? What do I do? Okay, I have a condominium that's vacant right now. Do I sell or lease?
Lease.
Both.
Come on, you're the agent. I'm your client.
Do both.
I'm your client. I'm your client, right?
Even if you want to do the listing.
I think my first question is, do you plan on selling in the next 5 years or not?
Don't know. I'm an investor. I want to make the best investment. Should I sell or buy?
Both. I had a
Both.
meeting yesterday for the same thing.
So what are you telling? I'm asking you guys. What are you telling your clients? What are you telling me?
I think I would tell you to keep it.
I told that priority is for selling for sure because the rent what they are getting right now is not sufficient to pay the mortgage.
Okay, so he's got. All
Losing
right.
the money.
Okay, so here's a key point. So the number one question is
When did you buy?
is it a break-even cash flow or is it positive cash flow or negative cash flow?
Depends on the mortgage.
So if you don't have a
so in your case,
mortgage-
it's a negative cash flow. So and what are the hopes of condo appreciation in the next 2-3 years?
Who knows? I'm not a god. I cannot say to it.
So when you're talking to clients, do you guys give your opinions or you let them make the opinions?
But they ask our opinion.
And what do you tell them?
I think the outlook's going to be good. I know it sounds weird right now, but
If it is negative in cash flow and they cannot support it, they should sell it. If it is, with a $200-300 off, it's better to hold on to it for the next 2-3 years so that at least they are not going to lose a lot of money if they sell it.
I just thought there's gonna be a condo shortage in the future because there's nothing building.
That's
This-
what the builders have been
Yeah,
saying.
this is a sales meeting here, right? So we're doing a little bit of sales training here as well. Okay, so I'm the public. I'm asking your opinion, and I'm not getting an opinion.
Everyone's scared.
You can do this, you can do that. Well, tell me what to do.
Depends on their financial situation.
I tell you what I'm doing just to ease the pain here. I'm doing both, and letting God decide.
Yeah.
That's very methodical.
Okay,
right?
so if you get an offer that comes in at the same time, someone wants to buy it, someone wants to rent it, which one are you picking?
Okay, and in my mind, why I'm hesitant, I'll give you the answer. Why I'm hesitant is I'm reading now. Okay, the rent's gone down $200 a month. I was renting for $2,900. If I get $2,700, I'll take it. Right? Does everybody agree with that fact?
Yeah.
yes,
Should it be less than $200?
I'm seeing $200 less from last year.
I guess we'll find out,
Yeah.
right? And now my the condo, I could have got maybe 650 square feet. So what's it worth? 1,000 square foot, 650,
650.
whatever it is, might be. But it's C1, so I think it's probably yeah.
And
So I
lumber.
think it's about 700,000, right?
That's more.
So I think I'm gonna list it for 699. Right? And then,
Who told
and
you?
then-
Who told you to do
You
that?
did. And then,
His
and then
real
go from
estate
there.
advisor?
But if I don't sell it, it's okay. You know why? Because they're not building condos today.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that in 2-3 years, 4 years now, there's going to be a condominium shortage.
You're in the central.
So Mr. Seller here, if you believe what I just said, then I would rent it.
See what happens.
Inventory is going to go down, whether we like it or not.
At some point.
Yeah.
Have a view of the CN Tower.
No.
No.
But that is
It looks like not like another office building. It's not ideal.
Office building.
And a condo building.
What was your question, Alex? Sorry.
Does it look at the
Well,
scene?
here's that view of the CN Tower to have a buyer looking for
Do you have a view of CN Tower?
No. Oh no, he has like the tip of it.
I have a
the
s-
tip
No,
of
he
it.
doesn't.
Yeah, he
He's on the
does.
seventh
Yeah, he does.
floor.
There's the tip of it.
No, he
Yeah, you can.
Yes,
No, you can.
You can. Yeah, you can see.
You can. It's literally like this much.
Can I do this? Can I do the listing description?
That'll do.
You can see the tip.
Yeah.
So the answer would be that if somebody's thinking about hanging on to the condominium, because I see the logic being that there's going to be a shortage of condos in the next 3 or 4 years, I believe.
Yeah.
That will be only for the downtown or overall GTA?
Well, they're not building anywhere, right? So
I feel like Pickering's one of the few places that's still building
there's two. I don't know
condos
if they're
right now.
building, they're selling.
They're like, they're selling. Nothing's been dug, but
Yeah.
there's a lot coming there.
Anyway, so just so you know, from March 31st, so April compared to like this April versus last March, sales are actually up 12%. So the market is actually picking up as we go, right? So that's encouraging. Leases, 16,000 active leases out there, 6,000 are freeholds, 9,000 are condos. Vacant, so leases that are vacant, 50% of the properties are vacant that are for lease. So again, that tells me that the sellers are the tenants. No, the tenants are moving out for cheaper rent, and the sellers are still hanging on to their rent. Same as is that true too?
Yeah.
Anybody have clients that who's got leases, condo leases right now? And are they? How long has it been on the market?
Well, we had a couple, but they didn't last like a couple weeks.
So they're gone. And did you price it?
There's crazy amount of activity right now.
Okay, so
I'm definitely getting activity too.
So
though.
I'm going plus $200 then.
He wants the same as what he's currently getting.
Did your clients reduce their rent from before?
We had one that we listed in 251 Jarvis.
Yeah.
They leased it at near the same price that we listed it back in 2021.
Okay.
We have one in 8 Wellesley right now. That one, there's like, I don't know, 40 to 60 like one bed units available over there.
Do you have a one bedroom?
Priced at like 2025, which is $50 less than the next.
2025.
Yeah. And we've had like, I don't know, almost 30 showings on that thing.
30
I
showings.
think we got an offer, so.
Are you the cheapest one in there?
Yeah, for that unit, it was the cheapest one there. But I'm finding there's a lot of activity from U of T students. Like they're just finishing their finals right now, so a lot of the parents are coming in, taking a look at the units with their kids
Yeah.
and trying to get a place. Like I just did one for like 3 international students from Japan and the U.S. and like parents paying for it.
Yeah.
Like, you,
Okay. So that's good news then.
They
Okay.
paid upfront or?
upfront, yeah. Like I find all the negativity with rentals. It's like to me, I'm not feeling it. Like places are still renting. There's still a lot of rental activity. I don't know. Just look at downtown.
If you move up to the 2,700, 2,900, do you think it's as busy?
No.
He's asking for a friend.
I don't have anything.
I just wanted that price range, right? So yeah.
Well, you're getting parking.
I think
and locker.
2,400 and lower is doing the best right now.
Yeah.
Okay, good. The first 4 days in May. Do you want me to tell you or just move on?
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
Okay, not enough. There's not enough now. I should do this next week.
Maybe next week.
Anyways, it doesn't really count. The sales are down over 35%. No, 35% down from last May, but it's only 4 days, right? So we really can't count that. Good.
I'm going to continue on with your stats. Someone did an article. The article is entitled, Who's Buying, Who's Selling, and Who's Losing? So basically, this guy ended up summarizing a lot of the data from 2024 about Ontario housing. And so I'm just going to give you the 5 main points that I like from it. But in 2024, Toronto condos represented 65% of property transfers. I thought that was very interesting. The median age of Ontario's first-time home buyers was 40, which I think is a little crazy, but
That's
Isn't that something? That's the medium
median, yeah.
age of a first-time buyer is 40 years old.
Where are they taking that? Where are they taking that data from? They did, like,
I can give it to you.
This
I'll
is
show it to you.
this is TerraNet, and they're taking it
Yeah,
from
TerraNet,
from the land titles.
And where
Is
are
that
they
having
buying?
parents on title too then? It's raising the average?
Ooh, it could
first-time
be.
buyer?
Could be.
That's a good question, actually.
A lot of mortgages I have to do are like.
Yeah, a lot of people are at their parents. That's true.
Oh, let's show this with you.
Where are they buying?
Ontario. This is Ontario. This is Ontario data.
Or GT?
Yeah. And then the other one, crazy stat. Average holding period for Toronto non-condo properties is around 18 years. So I feel like people are actually staying in their houses longer.
Not good for us.
Not good for us.
Back when I started back in the 80s, it used to be like 7 years. Some people just used to change houses. 7, 8
Move
years.
up
Yeah.
the ladder.
I always said 5 to 10 years, but 18 that's crazy.
No,
For non-condos.
Non-condos, yeah.
so the old days, people would actually sell their big houses and downsize. Does anybody heard of a downsizer anymore? You have?
Lots of downsizers
Yeah.
are going into condos now.
Usually people hang on to their house. Usually it's 3,000 square foot house and 2 people live in it.
That's just you.
That's
That's just you.
That's
No, my mom is doing the same thing right now.
I tell you, the boomers screwed everything up. Now they're
Boomers are hanging on to the good stuff right now.
They're living in a big house.
And then the last stat we pointed out, I think you said this earlier, Claire, but 25% of homes bought in 2022 under $1 million sold at a loss last year. It's interesting.
I've got the same thing here. So that's
Yeah.
right. Anybody that bought during the pandemic are losing
Pandemic,
money in
yeah.
that. So
Which is a lot of people.
So 25% of the people lost money that bought between $500 and $1 million, right? If they bought between $3 million and $5 million, then they lost 15%.
Wow.
So it's the old saying, rich get richer, right?
Well, the problem is there's not enough product in that $3 to $5 million
Guess so.
range.
If you're, who's got these now? Let's say you've got a person that's selling a brand new house and they're pretending that they're buying it for themselves. So in other words, it's not Tarion warranted. Anybody, you know what I'm talking about? A lot of guys buy the house up and down Bayview and Yonge Street, Shepherd there, and the guy will buy it, an old bungalow, tear it down, build a brand new house, and say that he bought it for himself, even though he's a builder. It's completely against the law, right? If you're a builder, you're a builder. But people do it and people overcome it. What they're saying now is that anybody that has bought a new house, the obligation now is on the buyer to register that purchase on Tarion.
The buyer.
Oh.
The buyer. Because a lot of these places are being built without Tarion. And they're finding a whole bunch of people, builders, for building without Tarion. They're being charged with building brand new houses, and they're pretending that they built it for themselves, but it seems like they move all the time. But that's another legal argument. So what they're saying here, Mr. Buyer, you'll still be covered under Tarion warranty, but it's going to be limited because you didn't register it. So rather than the builder registering the Tarion warranty, they want the buyer to register it to catch the builder doing something wrong. It's bad. But anyways, you follow me there?
Mm-hmm.
So that's effective July 1st.
So buyer agent has to provide that information to buyers.
Buyers, the buyer, not
Buyer
the,
doesn't
not,
know about it.
Buyer.
yeah. So the buyer, but if you've got a client that bought a brand new house, then they need to go to Tarion. Why does Tarion want to do that? Number one, the builder has to pay. I forget the numbers here, but the builder has to pay like $20,000 or something there, which they get back when they register for Tarion. I think the actual fee itself is like thousands of dollars. But anyways, they have to put this money up front. Tarion goes in there and inspects it, and as long as they do everything properly, then they get the $20,000 back. Right? But what the bigger thing they're doing though is Tarion is part of the government, and what does the government do? Government collects taxes. So they want this person to file his taxes. So right now the builders are pretending that they own the house, principal residence, no tax. Tarion says, we know that's not true because you've done this 4 times in the last 4 years. Right? So that's a bigger picture is the tax. They're saying it's because of warranties and stuff like that, but I think the bigger picture is taxes.
Would this go for the buyers buying
These are only
big, well-known townhome complexes, or is this for the one-offs, like the individual freehold
it's everybody,
houses?
everybody.
Okay.
And it's not condos, by the way. It's just freeholds.
Just freehold.
This is for the HST portion.
I'm sorry.
This is for HST portion because they're not collecting since it's a primary residence. So they didn't build a new
permanent seller.
Yeah, with the tax part, yeah, so there's the HST portion that the builder's not paying, but there's also the income tax portion. All right, so if they pay $1 million for a property, tear the house down, build a house and sell for $4 million, the government wants their capital gains tax, right? Or their normal tax.
So the buyer will register, right?
Yeah.
That's fine, but who's gonna pay the carry-on fee?
Well, now the tenant's going to go to the builder and say, like, is this a brand new house? And the builder now is going to have to be answer to Tarion, right? Why it's not Tarion warranty. But hopefully they're going to do it before the house is built. Hopefully they're going to do it as soon as the contract's signed. They don't want to do it when they go to move in. They want the house. They want it when the contract's signed so they can overcome these things right away. But they are passing the buck on to the consumer. A lot of people don't like it. They're saying, how come we're ratting on the builders? It's not our job. It's your job to find these people. But the government's saying, well, too bad.
Crazy.
So is it buyer's agent obligation to inform the buyer?
No, it's a buyer.
So
I mean, these are freeholds, right? How many freehold guys give cooperating?
sometimes,
Not many.
These are freeholds. These are freeholds.
No, he's saying is it the buyer's obligation to inform the buyer?
The buyer's agent.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
telling you guys right now. If you got a client that buys a new house, make sure they know they have to sign register. Yeah, that's why we're talking about
There
this.
is no rule.
No, there's no rule. If they don't do it, it doesn't matter. But if something goes wrong and they didn't register it, then they're not going to get their money as fast as they would normally.
We took possession in one was district and one festival. So both the times in last 2 months, builder clearly told that you register, show us the proof that you registered with Tarion.
But that was condo. This one's for freehold.
So if you buy a brand new condominium, for instance, you'll get a Tarion schedule because they have to worry about the closing dates and they have to abide by all those rules, right? But I'm talking about more about the one-off guys that are building individual houses, pretending that they're doing it for themselves. Meanwhile, it's a builder, right? And they're trying. It's a tax grab, and they're trying to protect the consumer too. But anyways,
Actually, I'm going to continue on that theme of developers. But last week, Toronto moves to freeze development charges ahead of a May increase. But the numbers I was looking at was insane. Okay, so as of June in 2024, one-bedroom condos had increased to $52,000 for development charges, whereas the two bedrooms went up to $80,690. Just to give a perspective, in 2023, those numbers were $37,000 and $56,000 respectively. But these development charges are insane. And it goes through everything, like, so some of these downtown ones, they have the Spadina subway extension, there's parks, recreation, libraries, housing services, fire, police, like all these charges are coming onto these condos, but it's crazy how much the prices have gone up.
For a one bedroom.
Yeah. Which makes sense why, like, the
Only the
prices, condos, it does it for everything, but condos are the big ones right now. But Olivia Chow has froze it for me. It was supposed to increase 4%, so they froze it.
I don't know if you guys read this stuff. This is called The Great Sell-Off. This is John Pasalis. He's a broker. He writes these stories. He's similar to how I think. But anyways.
Realisopy?
So you're talking about great stuff. So exploring how Canada shifted from a source of shelter to a driven of wealth. So what's saying here is that the government's the one that jacked up our prices. How much? Somebody said to me that in Texas you can buy houses for how much?
Like
$400,000 for $3,000.
For $500,000. In Toronto, it's $1 million, right? So why is that? And they're saying they're blaming the government. They're saying that by remember during pandemic, and the rates went down to 1%, half a point, whatever it was, right? So what that did is incentivized investors to get in the market. So investors got in the market. At the time, it was 25% or 30%. Now they're saying there were investors buying properties, not end users. So they were competing with each other, jacking up their prices. Prices went up there because of the low interest rates. And everything went up, and the government did that, right? And they're saying here that the old days used to be you could buy a house based on 4 times your salary. It was based on your salary. It's based on that's how you could qualify to buy a house, and that's why the prices were based on what everybody's salary is. But he says in the housing market, for some reason, it's gone into the investor side, and it's no longer shelter. It's an investment tool. So people are looking at real estate as investment. How many people said to you, "What's the prices going to be?" They're buying a house for themselves, and they're asking you what the investment opportunity is. Am I right or no? So they're saying it's completely changed, and the government's making it worse. Like they're saying that it's not necessary to be. I don't know. He's suggesting that there's not a housing shortage. They're saying that there's just too much money out there, that people are using real estate as an investment arm. Housing is no longer about housing. It's a financial instrument. Sorry. Our prices are no longer constrained by income, but driven by capital flows, and not just by Canadians, but by investors, some domestic, some global, whose purchasing power is shaped not by salaries, but access to wealth, credit, and leverage. Makes sense, right? Investors account for nearly 1 in 3 houses purchased in Canada, so it's more than what I thought, and it's a wealth generation tool. There's 2 serious challenges. First, it's published housing further out of reach for younger Canadians, many who no longer can afford a house at all. And so the first-time buyers are up against the capital-rich investors whose buying power is unconstrained by income. So he's saying that the whole thing's backwards what they're doing there. They need to concentrate more on, rather than spending money on new housing or modular homes or all the things that they're coming up with, they need to spend money on jobs and development and R&D and trying to create wealth rather than making it more houses. Yeah. I don't know, does it make any sense to anybody? It's kind of deep. Anyways, next.
How many millionaires do you think live in Toronto?
Can you tell me? I have no idea.
108,000.
What's a millionaire?
Millionaire.
Just $1 million.
There's an article that kind of went through the wealthiest cities, and Vancouver and Toronto made it in the top 30. Toronto was 15th.
Cool.
We got 184 centimillionaires and 20 billionaires that live in Toronto. They're messing up the market.
Good. Interest rates. What do you think? I've written here, Varan here could comment on it. Interest rates I'm showing here, fixed rates are creeping up and variable rate discounts are shrinking. Is that true? Some of the lowest fixed rate mortgages have vanished in recent weeks. Lenders are quietly tightening up their variable rate discount as well. So a high ratio 5-year fixed rate, which has dipped as low as 3.64 earlier this month.
I'm getting 3.9.
Has since jumped 10 to 20 basis points since then. So now, 3.8, 3.9. At the same time, variable rates discounts are shrinking. Some banks like CIBC and Scotiabank are reducing how much they shave off the current prime rate of 4.95. It's happening gradually, but the offers just aren't what they used to be. So we're talking about variable rate, be a variable rate, probably like 4.95 minus 1%, minus 1.5. What's the deal now?
Now about 60, 70 points.
60 or 70, not even a point. 60, 70 point discounts. Okay. So if I got a variable rate mortgage, it's a variable rate minus 60, right?
What are you telling people to do?
Variable.
Variable?
Variable rates have continued to narrow across the industry, but not just the big banks. This guy here noticed that several banks are still offering close to 100 basis points off, but it's not. The trend is not there. So it's going. The big banks are doing the 60%. Short-term gain, that's fine. In the States, well, okay. This article here is talking about mortgages in Canada. Did you know you can get a 10-year mortgage up here, right?
But the rate's higher, isn't it?
The rate is higher. All right. Now, in the States, they have 30-year mortgages. In fact, you can get a 30-year mortgage up here, too.
I don't think so.
That was a trouble bit. 10 years. So why don't people take 10-year mortgages?
Payment is
Too high.
All right. Because what they're doing, they're increasing the rate so that they're hedging themselves, right, just in case something happens, right? The problem with 10 years, though, if you plan on staying there 10 years, that's fine. But if you plan on moving before the 10 years, you've got to pay the interest differential as a discharge penalty. So you're going to pay a ton just to get out of that mortgage, right?
only up to 5 years. After 5 years.
After 5 years open, right? But you're still paying the penalty, or not? It's closed, but it's closed for 5 years. But after 5 years, you can still discharge it, but you're paying your interest differential penalties, right? So it's quite a bit.
Would you remember what like the 10-year was during the pandemic? Fixed?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
if someone took a 10 years.
10-year then? Like, that would have been amazing.
And people took 7 years.
7 years?
Now in the States, they've got 30-year mortgages, and everybody's here. Oh, how come we don't have 30-year mortgages? Right here we have like 5-year mortgages, 10-year, but here's 30 years. But our 5-year mortgage, for instance, is around 4.65. Let's just throw that number out there, and a 30-year mortgage in the States is 6.86. So yes, you can get a 3-year mortgage, but the rate's going to be another 2 or 3 points higher than what you can get in a 5-year term. So if you want to do that stuff. And they were talking about it. I heard the guy on the radio yesterday. Pete, what's the name of that show that you listen to? You listen to? Money and You or something? Or anyways, they're saying there the government is looking at all this money that we've got sitting in our principal residence, and they're trying to find a way to get it out. So they didn't actually say anything, but they're looking at how can they get that money out. All these people sitting there. Maybe they do something over 10 years or something. Every 10 years you pay an amount. But there's all kinds of money sitting there on the principal residence that they want to somehow do something with, but we'll see.
I'm the final girl.
Okay, so what's going on? What's going on today with
you guys are the.
Why is the market moving right now? What do we say? The market will always move because of the 3 Ds, right?
8 Ds, but you like to
8
refer
Ds.
to
I
the
use the
3.
3. I use 3 because that's the 3 I can remember. You've got your divorces. You've got your
deaths and diapers.
And diapers. Or I've got.
What's the other 5?
I call it debt. I call it debt.
Debt.
All right. So this article says how to keep your home after separation,
Huh?
even if you don't qualify by yourself. Ooh, how do you do that? Look, Varan here.
Someone
You keep
lives
'em on.
upstairs and the other one lives downstairs.
So if you have a couple getting divorced, there's the article here saying here, as long as they're talking, if it's a bad divorce, nothing's going to work, right? So bad divorce, nothing works. But if you got an amiable divorce, and let's say you got husband and wife don't get along, but they still have kids. Husband doesn't want to leave the kids high and dry, so the husband can still stay on title and just move on like nothing happened.
Go and rent.
He can go rent. He can go rent, and the wife can stay with the kids and keep the mortgage going, and he's on the mortgage, she's on the mortgage. Sometimes he can take his name off if the bank allows it, his name off, so she owns the house, but they're still both on the mortgage. Another option would be, if that doesn't work,
You said leave the name and yet.
take the name, if the lender will do it, take the man's, if the husband's name, take him off title, but keep his name on the mortgage. So if she defaults on the mortgage, then they're going to go after both people anyways, right? But if that doesn't work, because the banks don't want to do it, they're saying here, change the ownership, make him 1%, make the wife 99% ownership. So now they're both on the mortgage, everybody's happy. They're both on the mortgage, both on title, and away you go. So there are other options out there. But if they're amiable, if they're fighting like cats and dogs, it's not going to be able to work. Have you ever had to do that?
I have seen people like, they keep the house until the kids are done and they go and rent it out. And I've seen one, they put a house on the offer, went on MLS, the wife can buy the house $1 more than the best offer.
Okay, I've seen that too. Okay, yeah.
That was pretty much.
I've seen that.
Yeah. Talked about area codes. We talked about last week about putting your kids' names on title. So make sure you talk to a lawyer before you do that. It's not always a good name, good idea.
Actually, we had that girl come in last week.
I'm going to be talking about her.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
Prec planners.
Prec planner, yeah. She's really good, actually. I really liked her. She's a good person to actually just have your initial discussion with.
Vancouver and Halifax, or I guess maybe all of Nova Scotia and BC, have done something that hopefully we do here in Toronto or Ontario. On Realtor.ca in those provinces, the public can see the sold data on Realtor.ca. In Ontario, all you can do is see what's for sale. You cannot see the sold data. So, why would people go to House Sigma?
To go
To
see
see
the sold.
sold data.
Sold data. Which is the biggest website in Canada?
Realtor.ca.
So all Realtor.ca has to do is give the sold data
Flip it on.
and say goodbye to House Sigma and Zolo and everybody else. So the sooner they do this, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Don't know why it's taken so long, but What's that? I don't think it's the tech.
Halifax has the same database as we do.
No, like tech as in like the Richard CA website. House Sigma just smoother.
Oh no, but Realtor.ca is also talking about privatizing or for profit. So they would be able to generate that same type of platform.
Would that take away from House Sigma being able to if they privatize it then?
No, they could still do it as well, but now it's going to be a matter of who's got the biggest advertising budget.
Yeah.
Right? So I think Realtor.ca. So that's the good news if they do that. So
It's already happening in Vancouver?
it's in Halifax and now BC. And then you can go on. You guys can finish up here. I'm just going to mention this. I don't know nothing about it other than it says if you're waiting for a hearing at the Ontario Landlord and Tenant Board, York Region has a fast, free alternative.
Free.
What is it? I need it.
It says York.
It says if you live in New York, you can skip the hearing process at the LTB by choosing simpler. It's called mediation. Got a dispute with your landlord and tenant. The York Region Community Mediation Services, funded by the federal government, has no fees and now at least no waiting list. So if you got a tenant up there or a tenant problem in that region, mediation, free. Now this was written, when did I write this? April 17th. Be curious to see what it's like today. Usually it's done by Zoom, and there's mediators, the government's paying for them, rent arrears, tenant conflicts, phone numbers are here, that's it. So if you've got a tenant-landlord problem in York Region, I have that there.
Is anyone else having a lot of issues with fake documents from tenants?
Yes.
It's bad.
And it's very subtle. It's very difficult.
Bad.
Why are you looking at me? Or it's fake dogs look great.
So the lesson for everybody at home here, if you guys are doing leases for your landlord, right, and you're vetting the tenants, just be very, very careful that the information you're getting may not be correct. And that's why we're suggesting that they go to single key. Now, somebody's telling me that single key, some tenants don't want to fill it out. So somebody remind me that's used single key. Who's used single key here? So single key will send out the application to the tenant, correct? The tenant fills out the information and then they draw their own Equifax rather than getting the copy. But who pays the $35?
Up to you. Either the tenant or you can pay for it.
You can have your own account.
Because I've told a lot of tenants don't want to do single key because they don't want to pay the $35.
Or they don't want to get caught.
Or they don't want to get caught. I think if they turn it down these days, it's because they have a fake document
I agree.
and it'll catch
What
it.
I've done is I've accepted the offer conditionally on single key. So then I tell them, hey, we're not playing games. Like, we're good with you, but like, just pay for this, and then if everything's the same, we're good. And people are down with that because they have this security, right?
And then if they say no,
They
then
say no,
it's
then
red
I'm like, okay,
flag.
then it must be fake.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Yeah.
So the verbiage then would be, look, we've looked at your application. My client likes you. We're ready to go here. We just have one final step. Okay. So I'm ready to give you the keys, but one final step, right?
Final step, it's accepted, just fill this out, and if everything's the same, we're good to go. And I tell them straight up, hey, a lot of things are fake nowadays. We're just making sure that what you're providing us is all legit.
So if you don't want to go that far, you can also. Has anybody tried to upload the Equifax or the ID to ChatGPT?
Yeah.
I heard someone did it recently.
I wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't do that?
I wouldn't put private information on like these like AI.
You wouldn't upload private information to
It's a
ChatGPT?
privacy, like violation if they get breached.
Yeah.
then
How are they gonna
the
know?
person's Public data is on.
Yeah, so Julian's saying here that you got some clients that are sensitive with private information going up into the cloud, and that's valid. So, yeah, so you want to give it to single key then instead, right?
Someone had
Single
written
key was a single
online that single key gave them a go-ahead, but actually the information was not good.
Oh yeah, who was that?
Yeah,
You're
wondering
right.
who wrote that? Someone wrote.
So somebody said that they did do single key and it was fake anyways, right?
Yeah,
so,
but I think there was like a criminal, like he did actually have a run-in with the law or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, they missed that he was a murderer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they missed a Google search. Yeah.
Yeah, but
But if you did a Google search, then you'd found him right
Who
there.
was it? I don't know.
Sandy?
You wrote it?
What?
Yeah,
No, I shared that
Yeah.
similar one
Yeah.
last time.
Okay.
Received application.
And they also do AI. I don't think so. They're calling and verifying the employment. They're-
Yeah.
It's like if it looks legit,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
But I think they have a service where you can pay a little more and they'll do deeper they'll do like a background check. You have to pay like $50 more for that.
So I haven't done this, right? But we recommended that people Google the tenant, right, to see what comes up. What if you chat GPT'd the name? Not upload documents, but just chat GPT the name.
I think you should.
It would give you the Google. It would give you everything, wouldn't it?
Sure.
So that might be a practice you want to do rather than Googling the name. You want to chat GPT the name.
And ChatGPT just says a name, where it's origin and all that stuff.
Oh, it does. It just says where
Oh,
they're
okay.
from. It doesn't show any web pages or anything like that.
Provide personal.
Okay.
And what happens if people have the same name?
No, you have to specify.
Well, it's their problem, not yours. So. just don't make it your problem. Good. What else you got?
Nothing exciting.
Okay, I'll go into this one. There's a few of you guys that came last week to Joanne. Did any of you guys tune into like the webinar, Joanne with Prep Planners last week? If not, I would go back and watch that session that we did last Wednesday, especially for my older agents. Actually, no, you guys should be too, because she did a lot of explaining on really like how to do financial planning beyond like your commissions, how to like reduce your income with RRSPs. We talked about TFSAs, and she went into like how to do like income splitting if you have kids and partners and stuff like that. So she had a really good session. She drew out everything. So if you're a right brain person and don't really understand finances, she dumbs things down. So like I bet like anyone can really understand it. But she basically works with you guys to help you plan your future. So if you're making a lot of money now and maybe you have a goal to slow down at some point, she'll help you come up with a plan to make sure that you've got income generating for years to come, or how to save taxes and stuff like that. So definitely watch that session. I sent it out on Thursday or Friday last week with the recording on YouTube. So I would recommend it. You liked it too.
I really liked
She
her.
was
She's
talking
a-
all about death and
Yeah.
stuff like that. If someone dies, how to do their finances.
That's
It was
what
a
I
very good
actually-
session last week.
That's
so.
what I needed from her actually. Is so like my mom's getting older, my aunt's getting older. A lot of people don't take the time to actually figure out what their plan is, and I think it's very important.
Yeah.
Because I keep running into different issues with my
Well,
mom.
you've been doing your own paperwork for
Yeah,
some
yeah.
things, and she's like, "What are you doing?" Like that's what you hire people
Yeah.
to do is some of the
Yeah.
paperwork for filing and stuff like that.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
I can't even stress that enough. Like it's wild.
Yeah, so she was talking about wills and stuff like that. So definitely tune into that or get a hold of Joanne and book a consultation. A bunch of our agents did book something with her. If you're a
have
husband-wife
two.
team, there's different things you guys can even do to split your finances. Lots of good stuff for financial planning for you guys. So she wasn't here to sell precs. She does do precs as well, but she was mostly just talking about financial planning and the foundations of it. She's going to do another session with us. I forget what she said. You guys had something.
Oh, on insurance.
On insurance.
On
She was doing
insurance,
life.
yeah.
She does life insurance as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of agents were asking her about that, but that's a whole other topic. So she said she'd come back and do a session on life insurance as well. But really good stuff. Speaking of retirement, I don't know if you even saw this one. Carly sent this one about the Costco co-founder. I have a lot of retirement stuff here. The Costco co-founder still goes into the office weekly at 89 years old. And he was talking about to be successful, you've got to be pretty focused. And this did remind me of Claire a lot. He's not retiring, but neither is this guy. The Costco founder is 89 years old, and he still goes into the office every day. And I know we've got a lot of realtors. We don't really retire in this industry. But he was talking about, like, as for work-life balance, staying busy in a role that he loves, even after retirement, is what the icing on the cake for him. He thinks that there's 3 things that you have to worry about in life. So worry about your livelihood, worry about your health, and you got to worry about your family, and then anything else is a bonus. So if you're able to sneak it in there, then that's great. He's talking all about if you find something that you're really passionate about, then you don't have to work another day in your life. He goes into the office every day because he loves it, and that's a great gift. So Claire must really love us
love
over
it,
here,
eh?
and
You love
all you
us.
guys that keep popping into the office, you guys must really love real estate to keep popping in. So he's talking about for the younger people, if you don't love your job or you don't like what you're doing, maybe get out because you should like what you do, especially in this business when you don't really have that benefit of retiring at a young age. But on that other topic of retirement, real estate's untapped gold mine. So what happens when a quarter of the agents retire? So they're saying 34% of realtors are actually over the age of 60 years old. And that means 1 in every 4 business cards in your local MLS is tied to an agent that is at or near retirement age. Very interesting. That's a lot of retirements. But there's a unique thing that agents don't normally retire, and there's really no transition plan, no succession playbook, but most realtors just slow down. So you guys typically don't have some sort of exit plan. You just keep working and it's just slower. So typically most agents will just stop marketing themselves. They stop following up with people. They stop showing up, but their clients don't actually stop needing their help. And so this is where right now there's a current massive relationship gap in our industry. And that there's a lot of agents that aren't stepping up to fill it. So there's a lot of older agents that have a lot of clients that still need their help and they haven't been putting in that effort to stay in touch with them. So there's gonna be a lot of clients right now that are kind of figuring out who the heck they're gonna go to. They don't even know if their agent's even in the business anymore, even if you are. They just think that you retired because you stopped following up with them. So if there's just 30% of agents over 60 and older, that's over 150,000 agents that are gradually transitioning out. And let's just say each of them has 200 people in their database. That's over 30 million relationships that will soon be underserved or completely disconnected. So per agent, that's about 10 transactions a year, about $10,000 per transaction. That's $100,000 in potential gross commission each year. That's kind of in the lost right now. So who steps in for these people? So are agents just going to continue to step forward to continue serving them, or are they just going to fade out? So what some of you guys should be thinking about is acquiring another agent's business. So if I've got some young people in this room, which I do, we should start to think about another business opportunities connecting with our agents that are retiring and aren't keeping up with them, because they've already put in the effort to put in the relationships over the years, but now they're starting to slow down and you guys are getting hungry. So this is a really good opportunity for people to kind of fill that relationship gap and be ready for it, or let it pass you by. And we talk about that all the time, buying businesses from each other, older agents passing down their clientele, younger agents, if you don't have clients, go after the older agents' clients. But you've seen this before. How are agents retiring? Mm-hmm. Do they retire?
Some don't. No, some just
just die.
They slow down.
I'm never going to retire.
But it is getting harder. Like, technology's here. A lot of the older agents are now getting overwhelmed with technology and don't know how to use it, so you just stop using it. And then there's a lot of clients out there that have needed your help and don't. Talking to you?
So there's lots of guys.
I've been preaching this guy for 2 years now.
Yeah.
It's asking, does it say if they are active agents or licensed agents, 30%?
30% was they're still active, they're just older. So 30% of agents are around 60 and older. So they're still have their licenses, depending, I don't know what active typically means, but they may actively have their license, but they're not actively as involved as they were at one point. So it's a good opportunity for the generations to come together to save those clients that may not have that.
Like your doctors and the lawyers, right?
Yep. When they're passing their business down.
They don't just give it free.
You don't have to give your business away for free. So if you guys are thinking about retiring, you can sell your book of business. So if you guys have been keeping up with your CRM over the years, it's just like a brokerage buying another brokerage. It could be like, how many people do you have in your database? It could be a per head. You guys could maybe do a referral agreement where you keep your license, but another agent handles them and you get 25% of the transaction. So not necessarily saying you guys have to give away your business for free. Someone can buy it from you. So there's a business opportunity for you guys to slow down and still make money. So as long as you guys are doing it correctly, you can do that. I know.
Man,
Peter West probably got a
Peter
gold
West.
mine database, so you watch out. I bet he keeps track of all those clients.
So here's what I've seen in the past. Okay, so the different generations, like the old generation, let's say you're 80 years old, 75, 80 years old. This is general. I'm just saying general. But back in those days, You didn't have databases. You just had your cards. You had your, I don't know. You remembered phone numbers. You had it written down someplace. You had it on a piece of paper. And you never really had you sent a calendar out once a year. That was your follow-up, right? That was how it happened, right? So now people retire, and I say to them, hey, look, why don't you get this young guy here to handle your business, partner up or do something there, and then work out some kind of monetary thing, and away you go, right? And the answer I get back was, I don't have a database. And that just I've been in the business for 30 years, 40 years, no database. So that just kills me, right? So I think the new generation, you guys, I think you have all the technology now. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to have all your database there. So now you can take that database and sell it. That's the whole deal. We're all going to die, right? So if you had a nice database to sell to somebody else and you got a bit of a retirement thing going on, that's it, right?
Sell that book of business.
Where do you keep your database, Peter?
Nowhere.
How am I supposed to get that, man?
And that's the problem, is you can't sell a database if it's in your brain.
I feel like I'm all
Another
over it.
easy way you guys could do is go to Heather or Paige, ask for a list of every transaction you've done. We tell you guys this all the time. Now you got your list, that's your database through Lone Wolf, and then reach out to them. We don't have your client's private information other than their mailing address, but if you guys can somehow get a contact list and figure out where their numbers are and their email addresses and stick it on that Excel sheet. We have their addresses, but you guys have to kind of put that extra effort into maintaining it. So that's for retirement. We've got a few events happening coming up. This Wednesday, we have Remarketer coming in. Is anyone using Remarketer? I know a couple of you guys. I get asked all the time how we generate seller leads. Us sisters use an instant online home evaluation tool. I know a lot of you guys will go fill it out yourself going to our website. I get questions all the time about this home evaluation tool. It's through Remarketer. He's gonna do a webinar with us on Wednesday. They have a new tool, it's an AI home evaluation tool. Typically what people will do is they'll go to our website, put their contact information in, their address, when they bought it, how much they bought it for, and then within about 30 seconds, they receive a home evaluation with an actual range of what their house is worth. We use this all the time on our Instagram to collect seller leads, but we also send it out quarterly with a link to our email database, and we just say, hey, what's my house worth every quarter? They click on a link, they can find out what their home is worth. So if you guys are doing manual CMAs, this takes away a huge chunk of time. It is a paid tool. It's about $150 a month, but I think it's a really great tool. So he's going to come talk to us about it on Wednesday. We also have Realtor Quest next week, I believe. I forget what the days are.
15.
What is it?
14, 15.
14 and 15th, Realtor Quest. That's close to the airport. We'll be there a couple of days. Century 21 has a booth as well if you guys want to go pop in there. There's lots of seminars that are going on throughout the day, big trade shows. Go find some vendors. It's a great session. It's free for you guys as well.
Time to register.
I don't know if there is. I think just register. I think if you just get in because you're a Tread member.
I think you just show up and just flash your license and you're
you
in.
just type in your number with them and they'll give it to you.
Yeah, he's right. Last time they asked to register, but when you go to the tour, they don't refuse.
Yeah. I mean, out of politeness, we should all register so they can be prepared for all of us. Yeah, because you might get like a name tag and all that. So it's really just to help them prepare.
It's going to be busy. Pitbull is there.
Yeah, Pitbull's coming. He's got a lot to share with us. Other stuff we've got going on, Marianne Gillespie.
15th or the 6th?
Pitbull?
Yeah,
Well, I have no idea.
One of the days.
Don't even
I didn't
care.
look. I don't know. I didn't look. Marianne Gillespie with Red Apple Coaching, who some of you guys met last week. She is doing a coaching program starting May 7th. For $2.99 a month, you'll get a 1-hour monthly Zoom session, a scripting library, business planning, an online community, bi-weekly pop-up sessions, monthly challenges, and quarterly goal submissions. So if anyone's looking for a challenge or a coaching session, come ask me, but it's with Marianne Gillespie. What else did I have? We have leads. I don't know if our WhatsApp group's been going kind of crazy right now. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, we generate leads, buyer and seller leads through social media ads, which actually we did a Ryan Serhant session today on it. I won't go too deep into it, but we generate leads as an office. It gets to be a lot because you get a lead, you got to think about who to give it to, and by the time you give it out, I don't know if that person I give the lead to is on the road. I don't know what they're doing. So I'm trying something different where I'm giving the leads out to the WhatsApp group. First person to respond gets it, because there's a 5-minute rule with online leads for conversion rate. Our conversion rate has been terrible the way that we've been doing it over the years. So that's why I'm trying the WhatsApp group right now, because if you're quick to respond, hopefully that means you're at your computer or at your phone and can actually respond to these leads. Some people are getting angry with me. Not my fault that you guys aren't as fast as some of these people. I think some people, do you have me on like a ringtone now?
Yeah, I got you on a custom ringtone.
Yeah, some people now have me set up whenever I send it to the group, you get a notification sound. That means it's a lead coming.
Like an emergency alert?
Yeah, so if you're not in the WhatsApp group, we do have one for all of you guys. It's typically just where we do talk about referrals and open house opportunities and stuff like that. But in the last week, I've been giving out leads on them. If it's getting annoying, I might actually do a separate WhatsApp group for them so it's not filtering on that scene. But just goes to show you, we do get quite a bit of leads that are going.
Separate one you are making, or
I might do a separate one. Yeah,
might do it.
I might do separate because some people get annoyed by it. They don't want to deal with the leads. Some people do, some people don't. So I might just do a separate WhatsApp channel for people that do. Oh no, I've got buyer leads, seller leads, and leases, all of them. So we've got paid ads for all of it. I myself have about 18 buildings for lease right now, so I get a lot of like leases ads. So some of those are just from like my own listings, but the rest are there.
The last 2 weeks, I would say. Is there any reason that you got so many leads?
Yeah, we just upped the marketing on it. So social media ads.
Okay. And why do you say that it's a good idea to have a separate group?
Because it annoys people. Some people don't want the lead. Some people are not online lead generation people. They don't care for it. So it might just crowd the chat a little bit. There's about 300 people in that chat that don't really want to hear from it. If you guys like it in that group, no problem.
It's okay to be in the group and have another group. Because so many groups are there.
Are you guys all okay with it?
It's going to be just for leads, so you don't.
Keep it in the group? Okay. Eventually, it might become a paid program because who knows? We do pay a lot for these leads and we don't charge you guys back for them. But yeah, I can keep it in that group too. I might have to do a vote. We'll see. I can't make everyone happy, unfortunately.
So we have this very small budget for this. I mean, and the reason why we're doing this is to show you guys a way to generate business, right? So there's no reason why you guys can't do it yourselves. Nothing magical. It's agent locator, big deal. Mm-hmm. Agent locator, you pay him $200 a month for generating the Google AdWords, I think it is, and then another $200 for the web page, and you're done, right? So, but the problem with leads, these leads, and all other leads, you have to follow up. And the turnover rate, okay, everybody's getting all excited. Anybody that hasn't never done that, well, I want to lead. And then you're going to find out that the conversion rate is less than 1%.
Yeah, these aren't people that are literally ready to go.
So you got to get 100. You're going to get 100 leads before you get one to connect, unless you're really strong, and then you can bump it up to 3 or 4 or 5%, right? So what Katelyn's talking about here is that send out to 300 people. Here's a lead. Someone's going to take it, really not get serious. So what's going to happen? They're going to bury them anyway. So unless you're prepared to do that, then it's there. Is there business to be had? Yes, there is business to be had, but it's like anything else. It's a skill.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to know what they're doing, right? You have to be able to talk to them and try to generate those lead magnets, things like that.
Yeah,
So.
and the reason why I did it in the WhatsApp group is because what I've been doing is I have emailed them in the past, and an agent will message me the next day and say, got it, I'll call them now. And by then, the lead's already gone. There is a 5-minute response time, which we haven't taken very seriously. So I do want to see if I can get someone to respond to that lead within 3 minutes of getting it. Maybe the conversion rate is a lot higher and we're just not taking advantage of it. So that's why I'm giving it to the first person that responds. It's just based off speed more than anything.
Now, you missed Ryan Serhan.
Yeah.
What do they call him?
Secret.
Ryan Serhan had a great session this morning. He had a great session this morning.
It was really good. So, I mean, so anybody know Ryan
Serhan?
Serhan. I have to see it in writing to be able to say it. Anyways, he does what, multi-million-dollar homes. He's some TV star, blah blah blah, right? But he puts his pants on like everybody else, right? One leg at a time. So basically, he's talking about Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and not marketplace, but the actual boosted ads.
Yeah.
And that's how he's generating or telling people to generate business even for $30 million properties.
And he was talking about 2 different types of leads. There's lead ads, which is what we're doing. So lead ads is typically like a list of homes under a certain amount, or a free home evaluation, something like that, where you're getting people to get a lead magnet. They go to a page, they fill out a form, and then they receive whatever your lead magnet is. That's typically what I've taught you guys. The other ad is the listing ad. So if you have a listing, he talked about doing advertisements on a specific listing and then having someone reach out to get more information on the listing. So there's two types of ads that he throws up on both those platforms.
What he said that for each ad, either lead side or the listing side, each ad has 3 ads. And he's doing 3 different ads, and he's doing the carousel ads, he's doing the video, he's doing the
single image.
The single image. So every property he's got like 3 different ads on it, and he's running them on some kind of regular basis, right?
Yeah. But if you guys struggle with the ads, you can just pay companies like Agent Locator. That'll do it for you. Yeah. So
and
those
you
were
can create
good.
ads in ChatGPT.
Yep. And if you guys want to, like even the guy that's coming on Wednesday from Remarketer with that home evaluation link, that would be a great lead ad where you say, what's my house worth? You give a link to your website to the instant home evaluation ad, and then someone's gonna fill it out, and then you can do your own leads that way too if you wanna get into your own lead management.
Or you can print your own pieces of paper.
No.
So if let's say someone calls you and you give the lead, right?
Yeah.
And let's say after a week and he's not following up, is it not better way to give everyone, just like a sale by owner? The lady gives sheet to everyone and whoever gets it. And that was very productive.
Like you want me to give the contact information of the person in the WhatsApp group?
To everyone?
Hell no. Are you kidding? Every Percy Fulton agent will be calling that person, and no, they're not selling to any of us. No way.
If you got it, you may not call up.
No way. You guys would all turn
But I
to
think that's why we're trying to,
telemarketers.
like-
I'm trying to avoid that.
So what Abul's suggesting is not a bad idea. There's companies out there that
Yeah.
sold for sale by owner lists.
Yeah.
But imagine-
And he'd sell that list to 100 people.
Yeah, but do you think they're gonna actually? They get so annoyed with all those calls.
No, they don't.
No, they're trying to sell their house.
Yeah, they don't. I've been doing all years, like.
You would want to compete with through 200 Percy Fulton agents calling them.
Not 200.
They don't
don't
agree.
do more than
So
that.
by calling
They
them,
give
like,
it to everyone.
That
That'd
would
be
be
wild.
insane. Imagine I'm like, all right, guys, here's Bill Smith's number. Give him a call, and that phone just starts ringing at the same time.
Not everybody calls anyway, so.
What happens if he starts working with me and I sell him a house? But
No, if
working
you
with him for a
if
month.
you contact, they will tell, but other than that, right, if he's buyer.
That would be so dangerous.
To me, it's not a bad idea. I don't mind that idea at all. That's a real Shark Tank.
That's a real Shark Tank. I thought mine was a little aggressive. That's very aggressive. Would you guys want to compete that way? No? Oh, okay. Maybe I'll have a different WhatsApp group for that. The real Shark Tank.
It'd be every agent will say they're from Percy Fulton.
Exactly.
It's not like a Harvey Callis or a Remax. Same broker.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden we're on the news for Percy Fulton, like annoying homeowners. I don't know. That would be wild.
I will say I'm careful.
Maybe you can follow up the people you gave it to, and if they're not calling them,
Yeah.
it is based on the lead, right? That's
Yep.
what I'm getting at.
Yep. If I had a
But
billion
if
hours
you
in my
got a
day.
lead, you're not going to call it right away is my next question.
Well, I'm only giving these
like,
leads out
are you
for
just taking the lead and not doing anything with it?
I think a lot of people
Like,
do.
that's my- yeah,
I
that's
think
the-
a lot of people
that's
do.
the real question.
And then we get in trouble because people will say the leads are crap. I'll have people like leave Zolo and those lead generating companies to tell me the leads were crap. But like, yeah, they are. They all are. None of the leads are good unless you follow up with them and keep them on some sort of follow-up campaign. But most people want them to buy that second, and if they say no, then they're on to the next. Interesting. All right. That's all I got.
Anybody want to talk about any properties?
Actually, I had a question from someone. It's Mother's Day this weekend. Don't forget. But the real question is, okay, so Mother's Day and then it's long weekend after. If you have a property that you need to list, are you waiting till after long weekend or are you just putting it up right away?
It's not a long weekend.
No, the weekend after.
Oh.
Long weekend is not a good.
Just put it up.
Just put it up?
Just put it up.
Claire?
Put it up.
Put it up. I'll tell that agent.
Just put it up.
Steve.
Oh, you never know when sellers change their mind.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
He is the seller though.
Oh. I think Mara.
Oh, you want to do something now, right? So.
I have an assignment sale at 55 Charles
for sale.
How much is it?
How much loss?
We'll sell it for around $590,000.
What? That sounds good.
90,000?
Parking?
It's a studio.
It's only 90,000.
590.
First, if anybody has someone, come see that.
But she probably has a view of the CN Tower.
Studio, 55 Charles,
Yeah.
beautiful location, closing in 1 month. We need someone to take it right away. It's around 300.
That's how much they paid? 350?
Yikes.
It's 350 square feet.
Oh, God.
That's a baby.
Oh.
50? Oh, it's ridiculous.
That's tiny.
That's small.
Yeah, that's, I would buy Claire's condo.
How big there's company?
650.
We're on camera right now. I'll get to you after.
Yeah, I have a question. It's regarding the commercial rent increase. Like, is there any rule for commercial rent increase?
No.
So
There's no rent controls for commercials. That's your question? Yeah. There's no rent controls for commercial.
so 2.5 or 2.4 doesn't allow to.
No. They can double it if they want.
Oh.
That's why you see all these poor guys downtown. They had the business there for 50 years, and the landlord wants them out, and they double the rent, right?
It's supposed to be a mediation, but I don't know if that ever happens.
If you're renewing your lease, if you've got a lease and it has a renewal option, and you can't agree with the rent increase, then you go to mediation, and mediation will do the comparables for you. So it has to be logical, but there's still no obligation.
You still have to hire a lawyer for that.
Yeah.
They don't want to bother doing that.
Yeah, like if you have a right to renew the lease for a further 5-year term, then there is mediation involved too. So.
It's a big headache.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I thought it was for me.
All right. We'll see you guys Wednesday.
Let's go Raptors.